It's been over a year since I started taking my running seriously, trialing and testing many different running related products. Today, I'm going to share my top 5 best purchases so far after a year of running. Let's get into it. The first product that I have is a Spy Belt. Now, when I first started training for the New York City Marathon last year, I was one of those runners carrying my phone everywhere and wasn't really aware of the products that could solve that problem. It was after a little bit of research where I discovered the Spy Belt, and ever since I haven't looked back, using this pretty much for every single run that I do throughout the work week. Over my running journey, I've used the Spy Belt in a couple of ways. The main one being to carry my phone and my house keys to get back in after my run. And as I've got to the day of my marathon race, used 2 of these to carry my gels. My running shorts do have a couple of belt loops to hold 2 or so gels, but I found just having the rest of them in this helped me a lot and saved the weight around my hips, I guess, when it came to running the marathon and ensuring I had enough fuel to get me through. Only a couple cons that I have to the Spy Belt itself is sometimes, and as you get further on and after quite a lot of use, I found that the elastic tends to go too, so I'm constantly just trying to tighten it to make sure that it fits on my hips, because the second con, and this is actually a result of the belt getting older, is sometimes if you're holding all your keys and your stuff on the front of your hips, your phone can flip up and down. But I'll also admit, the iPhone 14 Pro is one of the heaviest phones I've ever owned, so that's also potentially a problem that caused this flopping with the Spy Belt too. So completely something to factor in if you're looking at purchasing one. The second item that I have here are my Tabio Ultralight Compression Toe Socks. Now, I actually discovered these when I was on a holiday in Japan earlier this year, whilst currently training for my second marathon for Ballarat. And as someone who experienced quite a lot of blisters over the course of training for the marathon, I noticed some people were wearing toe socks and saying that these would prevent blisters. I'll admit, I had never heard of the brand Tabio. I believe it is a Japanese company. And yeah, I thought, okay, look, I'm gonna give them a go and see how we do in terms of comfort with the sock as well as the blister prevention. And I'm happily here to report to say that these were a game changer in terms of my long runs, finding my toes were a lot more comfy and only rarely experienced small blisters, but nothing like I did when I was first training for the marathon last year. Training in these in the summer, I found these to be very breathable. The material wasn't too heavy and I didn't find my feet sweating. There's a good compression to these too, but I feel like the biggest pro to these toe socks in particular are the grips that you have on the bottoms of the soles. As someone who runs with orthotics, I find some socks cause my foot to slip very often, and it can be a reason why blisters are appearing on the fronts of my toes, but these kind of hold my foot in place in the shoe itself and on my orthotic. The only real con that I can think of is just sometimes it takes me a little while to get each individual toe into that designated sock region, we'll call it that. But hey, super good if you're looking for a pair of toe socks. My third best purchase is my GoPro Hero 11 camera. Now, I took a big inspiration from Kofuzi, who I believe is the one to really set the GoPro running trend. And a big fact was the ability to capture your shoes and your legs in slow motion and all those really cool shots that he does. So I was like, okay, I need to get one of these to record my marathon journey for New York last year and to continue making content here on YouTube. As an introvert and someone who really doesn't like drawing attention to myself waving a GoPro attached to a selfie stick, I found this is a great way for me to continue capturing that journey, as I said too, because I've come from 0 long distance running experience to now training for my third marathon in just over a year now. And I feel like this is a great way to capture those memories in an easy way. And super light, carried this in both New York, not Ballarat, and have found just the quality of footage that it takes and the ability for it to be stable is a game changer. And yeah, again, I feel like one of the best investments that I've made in my running journey so far. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see a video in the future on how I capture my running content with the GoPro. Fourth one that I have on my list are my Step 1 underwear. First and foremost, the reason why I purchased these is they tend to not stink anywhere near as much as my previous lot of underwear, and I believe that's because they're made out of bamboo. But also a game changer with this type of underwear is the glide panel that it has on the inner thigh here. So it's almost like a, how would I explain it? Like a lycra type material that's used here. And particularly as someone who doesn't have the biggest legs, just that ability to prevent chafing as you start to get tired and your form goes a little bit later in the race. These have just been so comfortable and you almost don't notice them when you're out there running. So if you're a fella out there looking for some underwear that will last you for your long runs, marathons, and all of your training, would highly recommend the Step One underwear. Pretty sure they also do ship worldwide too, so there you go. My fifth and final best purchase is the SAS Go Electrolyte Carb Mix. As I've mentioned in previous videos, didn't have the best experience running New York, and that was a result of not fueling myself properly, both before and during the marathon. I took this in with my second marathon, deciding to trial this Go Electrolyte as I was training, and found, particularly with the sodium content in this, as well as the ability to replace those electrolytes during my long runs, felt worlds differently compared to New York. It was also lucky to have this as the nutrition option out on the course for Ballarat too, so was able to train with this all the way up, not experience any stomach or digestive issues, and then use it out there on the course. And also, after completing my training sessions as well as before my long runs, would take a bottle of this, not a full tub, like I use my scoop to put it in a bottle to hydrate and top up the electrolytes. Especially as you get later on into your marathon training, I myself find I'm craving salt like crazy, and I feel like this is a much healthier option than the energy drinks and all the chocolate bars that I just crave and want to have instead. I can't say I have any cons with this. I find it sits in my stomach well as I'm doing my long runs, and over the course of a marathon it's treated me well, so would highly recommend that if you're looking for an electrolyte slash carbohydrate mix for your training. So I thought I'd finish off the video by sharing how much the total cost of all of these 5 purchases were for me, coming in at $969.90. And as we can see here, the GoPro contributes 82% of the total cost of my 5 best purchases so far. So if you're in the lookout for a GoPro to capture your running content, would recommend waiting a good while after the newest GoPro is released before purchasing it, or buying a couple models back. I feel like compared to the 10, 11 and 12, there's not really much difference between the technology. So something to consider if you are looking at purchasing one. So there we have it, my 5 best purchases so far after a year of running. I hope you found this video insightful, and let me know down in the comments too what your best running purchases are. I'd be keen to see what they are and also maybe test them out in the future. I hope you are doing well over on your side of the screen, and thank you again for watching today's video. I'm Jack, and I'll see you next time. Catch up.